Do you have a mattress cooler or the very closely related Adamson unit for cooling? This thing is amazing. It does keep you very frosty at night. Sometimes too frosty actually is quite powerful. You might want to throw a towel on top of your pad if it's getting a little too cold or causing the skin on your back to chill. Now, what if your mattress cooler is not performing well? Is it time to throw it out? The answer is no. These are actually very simple to maintain. I'm going to show you how you take one of these things apart and clean it. Um, I've had two symptoms. I actually have two of these. One of them, the symptom is it's been gurgling. So you here's extra gurgling, and the other one is that this thing has been leaking. So we're going to crack it open, see if we can find out what happened. And I'll show you how to fix the gurgling problem. This is the key thing for the gurgling problem. This is your filter unit. It may look a little different on the Adamson. I don't have an Adamson, so I'm not really sure, but I'm guessing this is the same. Everything else, as you can see, looks exactly identical. But this is how to fix the filter. You just reach in there, grab it, gently give it a little wiggle. It should come out. There's nothing fixing it in place other than a little friction. So pop this guy out. And this is what the return water goes through before it goes back into the system. So the return water comes out of here, goes through a hole in the bottom, comes out the other end, and when it comes out the other end, actually, it goes back into the unit through these holes. And the reason for that is that right underneath this is the evaporation membrane, which we'll see shortly. So the water goes through this evaporation membrane, which sits in front of the fan, and that's how you get the cold water. But this all has to be clean, and that's kind of why they have the filter here, is to make sure that schmutz doesn't build up from running through the system and then coming back in. And if you're having the gurgling problem, it's probably because your filter is dirty. I've actually just cleaned this guy up, but to open it up, you just pop open the latches, crack the little container open, and inside is your filter. And mine was a little gummy. You can see some of the schmutz on the sides here. I actually, get it. If you want to clean that, you can also get in there with the toothbrush, but really the key thing here is cleaning this guy, because the water returning from the pad goes through here and then comes out through this hole and then goes down through these holes. So give it a nice rinse. You can also see that some of these holes are a little blocked. Tends to be a little organic matter. Mold builds up in the system. It's water. It's water, and that's going to happen. So make sure your holes are nice and clean. I was using a mechanical pencil to clean out some of these holes earlier. Probably do that again in a sec here. Alright, so that's the filter. Now, what if you have a leak? What if you have another issue? At this point, you're going to want to crack your unit open by taking these screws out, 6 screws in the back, with a simple Phillips head screwdriver. Alright, let's work this guy apart. So, gently separate the halves of your unit. Don't worry, there's no electronics that are going to get popped out or anything, but there are some tubes that are kind of cross connected across the halves of the unit. So you'll see in a sec here. The bottom here is the tank. It's the first time I've cracked this guy open, so we shall see what we shall see. This is the one that's been leaking. This is also one that I've already modified because the fan broke in it. Okay. So do keep an eye on where things fit. These tubes you need to be able to reconnect because these are the input and output tubes. And then on this end, you're going to want to remember how this is seated. It's pretty simple. It's just a kind of a rectangular piece that fits into the both sides of the case. But that's your power input. Here's what it looks like on the inside. Here's that filter. Sorry, the evaporation membrane that I mentioned earlier, with the holes on the top. You can see the holes go right down in the membrane, and then the fan on the other side. Before we go into that, I should mention you want to drain your tank fully before doing this, obviously. And the way you do that is you pull the plug off the bottom. Here's the plug. Just a standard snub-nosed pliers on that. Even needle nose, but snub nose would be better because you have it. You can see this. It's got kind of a flat bar shape handle on it, and the snub nose would be perfect for grabbing that. Just pull it straight down when you're on top of a bucket, and drain all your water out so that you're not fighting with water when you're doing this. Okay, now you can separate the tank. You can see here's the fan and the electronics. Not a lot of electronics, which is good design because there's not a lot to get wet and get damaged. But the tank slides right out of the back half of the case. And one key thing is keep an eye on this tube. This tube is part of the return system, and it is how fresh water, when you're filling the tank, goes into the tank, because that tube connects to this hole in the top. So you can just pull that tube out. There's nothing connecting it. Just pull it out of the tank, and then the tank will come out of the back half of the case. Okay, here's my membrane now. The water passes through this and goes into these holes on the bottom of the tank. You can see I've got some debris here, just organic debris from being in water. I want to clean that up a little bit. You can see I want to clean the bottom of my filter, which has, again, a little bit of organic debris. And if yours is older, some of this might be degrading or falling apart, but these membranes do a good job of staying wet all the time. Yep, and doing the evaporation thing. Now I'm looking for signs of a leak, and my number one suspect is something to do with the tank. Now the top half of the tank comes off. Again, there's no catches or anything. It's just kind of a friction fit, and there's a little rubber grommet that goes all the way around it. But I'm not really sure. Not seeing any obvious signs of a leak issue. Side note about this fan, this is actually an aftermarket PC fan that I installed because the original fan in my unit died. It's pretty straightforward to swap it out as long as you get the polarity right. So pay attention to the old fan when you pull it out. Make sure the red wire is going to the right side and the black wire is going to the correct side, and plug that in. And make sure that the specs on the old fan and the new fan match. And you can just use a standard PC fan in this. This PC fan is a little higher quality than the one that was in the original unit. I think it does blow a little harder, and that might be my issue. Now I'm getting into the tank. You can see the top of the tank is popped off, and there's a kind of a friction fit here for this surgical tubing that connects to your pump. So you can just gently work it off to separate this tube so you can get the top off and really get in the tank. All right, we're in the tank. You can see I have a cleaning issue to deal with here. Got some of this gummy stuff building up on my tubes. These are the tubes that return the evaporation filter water back to the tank. And then let's see, and then this longer tube, this cleaner looking tube, this one is the output. This is the one that sends cold water out of the tank out to the mat or pad to cool your bed. And you can see here's the pump, and it's obviously got some goo on it. It's been underwater. It's almost like a fish tank in here, so I need to do a little cleaning. This is the little float switch that tells the unit when it's run out of water. I want to make sure that's clean and operational. And then on the front of the tank is your fill indicator, which you may recognize. Shows you when your tank is full and you can stop adding water. Yeah, it is possible to get the pump out. I would recommend you just work it. Don't try and mess with these. These are a little too slippery, and there's I don't know if there's even a screw thread on it. I was just able to just kind of squeak it out of there. It's like sliding a foot out of a sock. You can get the this rubbery sleeve off of the pump and just force it out of there. And you can also, since there's a little opening in the top here, you can just grab this and force it over the post to slide the whole thing out. Just gently work it out of there, which you may want to do to make sure that your pump is not blocked on that end, because it's obviously going to be, it sucks in water through that side. So if you're having water flow issues, slow flow, and your problem is not in the top filter, that's probably your problem. Is that something's gotten into the tank and the apertures on the side of the pump are blocked, and get in there with a toothbrush and clean that out. That's not my issue with this guy, but so yeah, that's the story. It's an interesting machine. It's smart design in its own kind of straightforward way. There are better models out there that do mattress cooling. There are fancier models for sure, but this thing is kind of the OG. Gets the job done. Alright, that's how you get into your mattress cooler. Good luck with fixing yours. Have a good day.